Welcome to the Evolve Beyond Limits podcast. I'm your host, Stacy Geisel. This podcast is dedicated to helping you create a life that sets your soul on fire. I believe that is truly possible for everybody, but you have to be willing to do a few things. You have to be willing to let go of your past conditioning. You have to be willing to break free from societal norms. And you have to be willing to get really curious about your life and how you can start to look at it differently. Each week, we will hear stories from people who have done exactly this. People who chose to disrupt the life path they were on, go against the grain, and share the lessons and perspective shifts they had to make along the way. Every episode is committed to not only inspiring you and connecting you with other amazing humans, but actually giving you the tools you need to use this information in your own life so that you continue to evolve and reconnect with your highest self. Are you ready? Let's have some fun. Welcome to this week's solo episode of the Evolve Beyond Limits podcast. So really quick, if you're watching this, Jeremy, my amazing podcast editor, is like, whatever you do, just don't wear big, obnoxious earrings. And I was like, oh, what? I think I'm going to wear the biggest, most obnoxious earrings I can find. Okay. Anyways, moving on. This week, I want to talk about this idea of seek to understand. Seek to understand. This is literally one of the biggest lessons that I have been learning from my husband, Andrew, and it is life-changing. So I could never figure out how he had this ability to fire somebody and then they would want to take him out for a beer afterwards. Like, it was fascinating. He would have the best relationships with people. Like, they would give him hugs as he went out the door. It was just, I'm like, how do you do that? Like, and he's like, I just seek to understand. I seek to understand where somebody's coming from. And I was like, mind-boggling. But here's the thing that he does that not that many people are that great at. Most people don't ask enough questions. They get a small amount of information and then they write their own story. We tend to make a shit ton of assumptions in life. And we've all done this. We've all done this. Think about when you're going to have a conversation with somebody, and specifically, let's talk about a hard conversation. What do? We make up about 10 different scenarios in our head about the way that conversation is going to go. And then guess what? It never goes the way you expected. It almost always goes better than expected because more than likely you didn't have all the information. This is exactly what happens when our immediate reaction is to make assumptions and take everything so freaking personal. The reality is very few things have anything to do with you. And it has a lot more to do with the inner turmoil that's going on within someone else. But in these situations, we never think to ask that person if they're okay because we're so busy making it about us, making it about ourselves. Taking things personally and making assumptions is actually one of the most selfish things that you can do, and not selfish in the way that I like to talk about. This is your way of believing that the world revolves around you. And I hate to break it to you, but it doesn't. Understand, I'm saying this with so much love, but the world doesn't revolve around your expectations of how things should go. So today I want you to think about this. How can you release taking things personal and not assuming? If someone doesn't text you back or call, what if instead of getting upset with them, you reached out and asked if they're okay? Because you miss them and you've been thinking about them and you'd love to connect. If someone doesn't want to work with you or they cancel on you, how can you show compassion instead of immediately assuming it has something to do with you? Instead of drawing your own conclusions about something, what if you asked more questions until you actually had all the pieces of the puzzle? The thing is that most people just want to feel heard, loved, and understood. Yet we rarely give people the chance because we don't seek to understand. So today, I want you to think about somewhere in your life where you tend to take things very personal, or maybe you're making a lot of assumptions about a scenario or a person. And instead of holding on to that hostility, how could you open up space for someone to feel heard by simply asking questions and actually listening to what they have to say? Okay, until next week, be bold, be brave, but most importantly, just be you.